Alright guys, this is my Vengeance review. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't pay for this because one, I wasn't home, and two, it was just too close to Hell in a Cell, and Hell in a Cell was kind of a robbery, if you ask me, but this show was ridiculous, and I guarantee I'll buy Survivor Series. I know The Rock's on the card, and he's teaming with Cena, and that's a big deal. But I'm just based off of this show, I'm gonna get it. Uh, yeah, this show got me back in. I thought WWE's going a little downhill. Raw wasn't so much wrestling based, but you know what? I see Raw as more like the pay-per-view show. Like they build up the angles and such, and then SmackDown's more where they deliver wrestling, and then pay-per-views are where they deliver match of the year candidates. So in compelling matches, and this card is loaded with them. Many things. Now I might not score anything 4 stars, but trust me, there's borderline. Like I've got things basically 4 stars. My webcam's being held up by like nothing because I'm not home. I gotta improvise. So yeah, and there's a dog. If you hear anything. Okay, so our opener was Boom, Kofi Kingston, and Evan Bourne defending the WWE Tag Championships against Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger. And you had that really annoying broad, Vicky Guerrero, but at least the Guerrero kids are getting a lot of money now, obviously. She's not really talented. She gets heat. Apparently, that's good. Even though if you brought in some shitty celebrity who knew nothing about wrestling, they would get the same kind of heat. It's get the fuck out of here heat. But whatever. I mean, Vicky doesn't follow any of the classic promo things. She has the same tone the entire time, and I don't know. You're supposed to kind of go low, get people's attention, then go up. Kind of like CM Punk, Triple H, everyone who's ever cut a decent promo. Vicky Guerrero's more like the Ultimate Warrior, but annoying. Just as incoherent though. So anyway, enough of my Vicky rant. This match is fantastic. Excellent tag match. This is more like something you would see in a New Japan Pro Wrestling match with Bad Intentions. Bourne and Kingston have their tag team chemistry down. They're a cohesive unit. They work together like a well-oiled machine, and every other cliche you can throw at tag wrestling. So yeah, this match is just really fantastic. Great breakups. I'm tired of tag matches for years in WWE. A guy would get hit with like a near friggin' finisher, and his partner would just stand there and watch. Like, come on. If you actually cared about the person in the ring, you would jump in and break it up. Unless you're some bodybuilder who doesn't know anything about wrestling. Mason Ryan. So yeah, this match is fantastic, and immediately after this match, Dolph Ziggler had to defend his United States Championship against Zack Ryder. This was a shorter match, but if anyone's gonna pull double duty and look like the star of the show, it's that zigzag man, Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler looked great. Ryder was good. Ryder's always good, but yeah, Ziggler looked great. Ziggler, if that guy's not holding the WWE Championship by this time next year, that's a huge injustice. And I'm not talking about winning the world title for like 4 days or whatever the hell he had it for. I think he had it, or a day, an hour, or something. I don't know, something really dumb and forgettable. If he has an actual world title run, Ziggler's gonna, man, that boy will sell you a pay-per-view. The only thing holding him down is that anchor, and she's about the same weight as a boat anchor, Vicky Guerrero. So yeah, I don't really have a score for that. It was really good. It was kind of short. I don't know. If it would have been longer, it would have been like 3.5 stars probably. But yeah, so I don't know if I told you the tag match rating. It was 3.5, 3 3/4. It was pretty close. It was like 3.5, but really close to 3 3/4, I guess. All right, now we had, I think this was the next match, Sheamus versus Christian. Yeah, these two have great chemistry. Christian brings out the best in people, but I think Sheamus also brings out the best in Christian. And just this size difference and everything, I don't know, it kind of works. Although Christian, I don't know. He seems like a threat, but Sheamus is always more menacing, I guess. Yeah, 3 3/4, maybe even 4 stars. Just really good stuff, good counters, good action. You cared about this match. All right, then I believe it was Beth Phoenix versus Eve Torres for the women's championship. 2 3/4, 3 stars. I know I say a lot of shit about divas, but I'm like 99 point, I don't know, 999%. Okay, maybe it's not like 98%. Eve can actually work. She's not Kelly Kelly. She's not screaming. She's not like a twig waiting to break in half. She's got an athletic build. She looks like she played basketball or volleyball or something. And I heard she's lesbian. Just saying. Yeah, I don't know. Eve Torres is a natural athlete, and I think she takes to wrestling, and she's got a beautiful moonsault. So it's kind of like Kobashi. Not to use blasphemy or anything, but yeah, just good stuff from Eve and great stuff from Beth. And just the best women's wrestler in the world right now. I know a lot of people would say people in Shimmer and this and that, but yeah, when 95 people watch your show, it's not the same kind of exposure. I mean, not to knock indies, but come on. WWE's obviously the #1 promotion when they're not dicking around on purpose. Yep, 3 stars, we'll say. It's pretty solid. All right, now R-Truth and Miz versus CM Punk and Triple H. This was a little bit chaotic, but at first it was a lot of good tag wrestling between both teams, and I like how Punk and Triple H worked well together. It was cool. But also Miz and Truth worked really well together. Awesome Truth, or whatever you want to call them. I don't know. I guess that's their official name. And the end was it was a bit screwy, but it wasn't like Triple H versus Punk screwy where it lasted like 10 minutes. It wasn't Russified. It was the kind of run-in you're like, I can deal with this. I mean, look how many matches we got left. Whatever. Nothing on this card was bad, and this continued the streak. So 3 1/4, 3.5 stars. Good tag match, especially where Triple H and Punk never teaming, but they've both been in tag teams and they know what they're doing. The pros. If anyone says Triple H and Punk can't work, they need to fucking reconsider being a wrestling fan. Maybe they're not a fan. Maybe they're just an asshole who likes to hate Triple H. Just saying. And Punk's like the best. He's the best, I guess. You'd say, complete package in wrestling. He's the best storyteller. Best worker. Okay, there's stronger workers in Japan and even in America possibly, but Daniel Bryan's not going to do what Punk does. If he could, he would have been champion by now, which he will win at WrestleMania. But yeah, I think they're building a big angle with Bryan, by the way. I think they're burying him for a purpose, and I don't think it's to turn him heel. I think it's going to lead to him losing Money in the Bank and winning the Rumble, and then winning at WrestleMania. But that's how I'd book it, because I'd be a great booker, and I think WWE's going that way. All right, we had Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. It's quite a bit of a feud. It's a feud that, a pretty good feud. That Cody looked really great. Orton's on his A game right now. Rhodes is the future, man. I could easily see him and Bryan at WrestleMania for that World Championship. 3 1/4 stars. Just a good match. All right, then we had probably my match of the night. Mark Henry versus The Big Show. Big Show was throwing super kicks. Henry had the power, doing everything he can. Chokeslam off the top rope, which Henry kicked out of. Big Show kicking out of that World's Strongest Slam, which by this point, World's Strongest Slam is just unbelievable. Mark Henry, it's not conceivable that someone can beat him at this point. At the end of this match, there's going to be a spoiler. If you haven't heard about this yet, holy fuck. And if you were around media of any kind, you haven't heard about this, it was the holy shit moment. I don't know, we haven't seen anything like this in like probably 2006, maybe 2007. It wasn't even quite that. At one point, Mark Henry, Big Show got desperate and he went to the top rope. Both men were desperate at this point. Henry caught him and he superplexed him. Very much like Lesnar versus Big Show, only, you know, Mark Henry's bigger than Lesnar. But I think it was 894 pounds, hitting the ring. Ring implodes. They got to stop the match. They stretch their Big Show out, and Mark Henry, you know, he's falling on his face. He's hurt. They're trying to take him to the back. They're trying to help him, and he walks out barely. I mean, Henry is the strongest champion WWE's had in, I don't know, since... I honestly can't think back. Brock Lesnar in like 2002, 2003. Really, I mean, what a champion. Yeah, I think that's about far back, because there hasn't been a champion as good as Henry since Lesnar. And I think Henry's going to surpass that, no problem. All right, 4 stars because of the classic ending. I mean, that was the crowd. Mark Henry went from the reaction when he first faced the Big Show, he's getting boring chants. It was a medley of boring chants and fucking crickets. And now Henry, everything he does, if he throws a fucking clubbing forearm, a punch, a stomp to the knee, the crowd reacts. Mark Henry is the best in-ring worker right now, I think. I'm not saying he's like the best wrestler, but everything he does matters. And even CM Punk isn't to that, like, Punk is better than him. He's more athletic. But right now, Henry just, no one's going to beat him at what he does. He is the best in the world at what he does. Just like Chris Jericho was 3 years ago, 2 years ago. All right, now our main event. Now, you might say, the ring fucking exploded. Yeah, turnbuckles hanging to the side and ropes strewn everywhere, and the main event had to go on. Time constraints. It wouldn't have been able to go on otherwise. So, what better match than a last man standing match to have in a fucking war zone? This is like after the war zone. Alberto Del Rio versus John Cena, WWE Championship. Very good match. Ricardo Rodriguez was incorporated very well into this, and he took on it. That boy got his ass whooped. At one point, the turnbuckle set up like kind of like a teeter-totter, hanging, like part of it was inside, part of it was outside, and Ricardo Rodriguez got atomic dropped on it, nuts first, and to make it better, Cena, I believe he launched Alberto Del Rio into it, which catapulted Ricardo, so, you know, to the nuts, which is just hilarious and kind of painful looking. And just great stuff. Del Rio put the turnbuckle over Cena and double stomping it with all his momentum going to the outside. Cena at one point threw Alberto Del Rio like you would throw someone like through the ropes, only there were no ropes, and he went straight into the barricade like a fucking torpedo right from the submarine. I mean, that shit was explosive. Del Rio getting yanked through the table. I mean, there's just a lot of good stuff. Ricardo was incorporated well. There was a rear naked choke. There was a bunch of times in this match it could have finished, but it didn't. But it wasn't like, oh, come on, end it already. It was like, oh, man, what are they going to do next? And the finish, you know, it wasn't the greatest thing ever, but it worked. I don't want Alberto Del Rio. I want Alberto Del Rio to be like a tough guy who can kick ass and shit. But he's got to weasel his way out of some things. And just the end of this match was fantastic. And I don't know, I give Vengeance probably like a 8.5, maybe a 9 out of 10. It was a fantastic card. And yeah, I'm not just marking for WWE. I mean, I didn't get this pay-per-view, remember. I feel kind of bad about it, but, you know, I couldn't get it, so, yeah. House sitting, by the way. That's why it looks so nice. I ain't got that kind of money. All right, I'm out. Go watch the replay if you can, or, you know, watch it any way you can. Get ready for Survivor Series. The Rock is coming back. He's teaming with John Cena. I would think Rhodes and Orton need to have a team at Survivor Series. Mark Henry and Big Show have to have one more match. I just don't know what kind of match they can have. Maybe a cage match. I mean, it would be cool to see one of the Big Show get like drove through the cage with a World's Strongest Slam or something. That would be another moment where you're like, oh, it seems like every Mark Henry match or something like that. But yeah, Mark Henry's the man. He's